Okay, this video is probably going to be a little bit nerdy, but stay if you are excited around the ET7, the new sedan that NIO is launching. It's actually supposed to be quite on track to be launched at Q1 2022, so it's just a couple of months away, and we've seen pictures of the first trial runs of production, so it is close to getting to mass production. I think this car is going to change a lot. It's a very important car, not only about the market size for sedans, so the first model in this segment that NIO is releasing, not only because it looks cool as hell, and but also yeah, the pricing, everything is great around this car in my point of view. I'm really excited about what this means for NIO. And what I think is important to understand from a analyst kind of perspective is that the ET7 brings a lot of new technology and a whole new platform of NIO onto the streets, because this is not only about what it will do for the ET7, but also for the follow-up models, the ET5, the upgrades of the ES6 and the ES8 and the EC6. Those cars will also be launched with this new platform and new technologies. And right now I think NIO is not claiming the lead when it comes to, for instance, range, the efficiency of the car and so on. It's more the whole package of what you get as comfort, what you get on a price, the service, the whole ecosystem and stuff like that. But NIO has always been innovating also on the technology, where we still have to say that Tesla is the obvious leader, and if you want to get the most performance out of the car for the money, then surely this is where you will have to buy a Tesla. There is no question around it. But I would also like to kind of get rid of this notion that NIO is kind of just buying some parts here and there and putting them together, and there is no unique innovation to it. Actually, even the oldest models like the ES8, it's a really powerful car, and it's accelerating quickly, as fast as the Model X, and there is lots of innovation already in those old platforms. But now let's have a look into one nerdy article around the ET7, on some of the technicals around the ET7 and this new platform that is going to be launched. And I'm trying to give you like more of the overview on what is important here. So this comes back to the XPT, which I mentioned in my last video, is this wholly owned Chinese company by NIO that is producing the drivetrains, the motors for NIO, along with other parts of the electric drive, the skateboard, the battery management system and so on. And this new ET7 motor will have a maximum power of 180 kilowatt, a peak torque of 350 nanometers, and an efficiency of 94.5%. This is also one of the huge advantages of electric motors compared to internal combustion engine cars, which have those explosions going on with all the fossil fuels. They usually only reach 30% of a transmission of energy from the energy input from the fossil fuels to what kind of energy can actually be used and is accessible on the streets with the car. And so this drivetrain is supposed to be the domestically best in class currently when it comes out. And here are some specifics around this. So one important metric of this new drivetrain and electric drive system will be that it will be very efficient in terms of also how much power it has compared to the weight that it brings onto the table. So it will have 2.04 kilowatt per kilogram, which is supposed to be in a leading position again in this domestic electrical drivetrain comparison. And this entire electrical drive system is supposed to work better through optimizations regarding the gear design, EDS, as well as optimization of the suspension fusion control, amongst other things. So one important aspect here is that NIO will switch from just silicon carbide to silicon carbide modules in this new motor. And those new materials used in a motor can control higher system voltages, pass larger currents, and have better heat dissipation and increased power, faster switching speeds, and higher turn-off voltages. So here you can see the green line is what like those traditional kind of materials can achieve in such kind of a motors on metrics like high voltage or higher temperatures and stuff like that. And then the red line indicates like how much improved it has in each of those different segments. So those new silicon carbide models, the green lines here, are performing better in various of these tests in comparison to those gray lines, which are showing basically the performance of the old silicon technology that has been used in motors before or are standard in the industry currently. And so in the end, those kind of new materials and processes have the advantage of the new Neo drive system, that it increases the capacity by 30%, the power has increased by 20%, the overall operating efficiency has exceeded the 91.5%, and also the battery life can increase by 4 to 6%. The article also talks about how not only the hardware but also software algorithms are helping to increase the performance of those new modules that are in the car. And one real-world example is how this actually benefits now on the street is in low speed when the motor is actually switching frequencies through those algorithms and improvements. It is possible to reduce the switching losses by 33.3%. And furthermore, what they can even do with those software algorithms is to reduce the noise of the drivetrain by 5 to 15 decibel by using a more harmonic voltage to make the electromagnetic noise and electricity generated by the motor work in a more silent way. Another innovation is how this drivetrain or motor block is actually playing together with the battery. So NIO has introduced this new 75 kilowatt hour battery, which is supposed to work better, especially in a colder environment. But also NIO has adopted a way of using the motor heating battery technology to upgrade battery packs in low temperature environments. So the motor is going into a brake and kind of locked and fixed, and this, well, while it's not rotating, but it's being energized, this kind of is generating heat, which then going through some heat pipe will be used to heating the battery pack. And this has been first applied with the Tesla Model 3, but now NIO claims that with the ET7 they can realize 4 kilowatt hour heating power with this new synchronous motor, and this should support actually 6-speed heat function, which is higher than the Tesla Model 3 actually. This whole system is additionally helping to reduce parts such as the pipelines, and so thereby can have less weight, which should once again be good for the overall performance of the car. And interestingly, it has some side effects, this technology, that once again this may create such kind of unbearable motor noises that also some Model 3 owners have experienced when the battery pack is heated. Once again, NIO comes in here with some innovations in terms of the software, how they can steer the motor for warming up the battery, but at the same time reducing some of those noises. And so I know this sounds awfully technical, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of all of these different innovations that will be going and have been actually developed over time going into the ET7. And while this is something really to look forward to, because of course this will have positive effects on the user experience in terms of all of the noise reductions that this article has been talking about, but also mostly I would say on the energy efficiency. That was currently not the main focus of competition of NIO cars, right? But increasingly will be better with the new models to come, I believe. And then this also once again shows that NIO is also innovating on that front and seems to be on a pretty competitive path here in terms of at least outcompeting the domestic competition. We'll see how this will actually line up in comparison to the latest EVs coming out from other Western manufacturers, particularly how it will actually compare to Tesla. But once again, I would say for NIO it's always about this overall package, not too much only simply on the technical innovation there. And still also you need always to have in mind that yes, the range on the battery packs may actually be a little bit lower than for Tesla, for instance, but this is always just what is currently possible. And so this NIO system is having the advantage that even if it's an ES8, which is not as aerodynamic like the ET7, which is great drag coefficient, which is close to the Model S here, then still you can upgrade to the latest battery technology, which should also give a nice boost in terms of the performance. So yeah, I hope this wasn't too nerdy. Just wanted to show off some stuff that I found here on the Chinese internet and translate it and bring it to you guys. And then let me know down in the comments what you think about it, and see you in the next one.